Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, April 28th. Happy to be back in front of the screen trading. Ran into some technical difficulties on Wednesday and ran into a drastic lack of sleep on Thursday. So we are back. I am back. Let's look at the news that is coming out for today. 8:30, we had GDP, employment cost index, and then we have PMI at 9:45 and some releases at 10 and Fed members throughout the day. Yeah, might be a little choppy this morning. Might be a little choppy ahead of those releases, but we'll see what comes. Let us take a look. I have not looked at the charts, so I don't really know where we're at, but irrelevant. Let's adjust our levels to where they need to be. Doesn't really matter what action we missed. What's important is that we take a look at the action even after the fact, adjust our levels that matter to us, and try to do a decent job with our expectations, our homework, things like that. Looks like oil is currently sitting right near overnight high. So it looks like we had a nice little push up overnight. All right. We are 100% net long inventory. Remember, the idea of net long and net short seems to have less of an effect on oil than it does on the S&P. We're we're going to keep it in mind. We're going to pay attention to it, but that does seem to be the case. It does seem as if it doesn't have as much effect here in oil. So I see. So we ultimately wow, is that real? Did we really have such a big gap down, or am I having an issue with my data here? That's gonna matter. I'm gonna go back into our chart here. Yes, we did have such a big gap down. Okay. Bring in our homework chart, our hourly chart, and start plotting out some hypotheses. So let's go back over the last few days and see had there been any levels that we breached that needed to come off the chart. We kept this on, which we can now remove. We kept this one on. My pen working this morning? Nope, let me get my pen. Excuse me. We had kept this one on here when we tested it from above and just kept having our wicks below. But then when we finally breached through it and then came back above it, we're going to now remove this off of the chart. This one is going to stay on, and I'm also going to mark off the high of day from Wednesday. I'm going to adjust this one to be the low of day. Actually, kind of right here. That one held nicely yesterday, actually, when we were trading. When we came up from beneath it, we kind of stopped right there and turned back around. Not a big move away from it, but just interesting that it would stop there. We are going to move this one down to represent yesterday's low, since it's going to come off the chart, but I need to put yesterday's low on anyhow. And I'm going to hang on to this one. We gapped down below it, tested it from below, it held. We then traded through it, tested it from above, it held. I kind of like that one for now. We're going to leave that on there. All right, let us shrink this down a bit. Shrink this down a bit. Just want to get an overall feel. So we're back into this volume profile. I remember we were talking about trying to get back into this volume profile and what we would try to do. And if you could see, if you remember going back a few days, we were talking about this value area high here. This right there. And as we extend it across, we see how we got above it, but immediately got pulled back underneath. It held its resistance nicely. Let's take a look at where we're trading now and get started on our homework. 49.64. Okay, that's pretty much dead center of our screen right now. And that's pretty good. 49.64. I do want to have my microcomposite visible. Okay. So, Hypo 1. We do have a large gap up. We're trading near overnight high. We are going to be looking for an initial push, an attempt to get to overnight high, possibly yesterday's VPOC. Sorry, possibly the naked VPOC from a couple of days ago. Even all the way up potentially to this. What price is that? 50.04 value area high of the microcomposite. Look for a failure. Now I want to clarify, and I'll clarify in just a second. Hold. Ultimately, make our way down to come and close. Just take a peek here. Yeah. Okay. Ultimately, make our way down in an effort to come and close all of or part of yesterday's gap. Now, this is a fairly large gap, so remember, I'm not saying that this will happen. This is just one of the ways that it can go. What I want to point out up here is that we can turn at overnight high. We can turn here. We can turn here. We don't necessarily have to make it up here to turn, but the concept of Hypo 1 is an attempt to push up towards overnight high with a failure, with a pattern showing failure, then ultimately turning down, getting into, coming down towards yesterday's high, looking to close the gap. That's going to be Hypo 1. Hypo 2. Same basic idea, to tell you the truth. But this time we're going to push down, come towards this microcomposite VPOC, ultimately break, and then make our way down into yesterday's range and possibly make a run for yesterday's VPOC and this former microcomposite VPOC. This is going to be Hypo 2. Not a huge difference with Hypo 1 as far as the end result. Just this one, it would be an opening drive down, and then the whole basically just staying in a downwards trend throughout the day. That's going to be Hypo 2. Hypo 3 is going to be a push down towards microcomposite VPOC, then a turn back up to overnight high, break overnight high, break this naked VPOC, break this value area high from a couple days ago, and ultimately make a run towards these swing levels here in the 50, 50, 50, 60 area. That's going to be Hypo 3. And Hypo 4, similar enough, except no initial test down, move up, break overnight high, and then ultimately look for areas to build support and continue to try to look for longs until we get up into this. Excuse me. Until we get up into this area, ultimately maybe even coming to test this naked VPOC here. And that is Hypo 4. Okay. Let's see if we have enough time to do the S&P. Get this out of the way for now. We are at 8:47. Should be no problem. Let's see what we did here. Oh, wait a minute. Is this? I can't remember what all-time high was. Let's go to our hourly chart. Okay, it looks like we had been above here. Yes, okay, we have not gotten all time. If you remember, I had been talking about I try not to look for too many shorts when we are so close to all-time high. So I will be very hesitant in looking for short opportunities when we're trading. But for now, let us move our levels into place. Value area high. VPOC. Value area low. Overnight high, matching yesterday's high. So we took a run at that overnight and it held as resistance. And there we have overnight low. So let's sorry for all the throat clearing. Let's take a look here. Yesterday's close right here in the middle. We are net neutral as far as inventory goes, so nothing to come from there. Let us take a look at this chart, see if there were any levels breached. Well, I definitely missed this day, so let's see. Well, we could take this one off. We could take this one off. And we're going to start plotting now the lows and the highs. You see how this one held nicely as the low of day yesterday. Real nice turning point there. The high from, what's this, Tuesday? Maybe I did see this day. The high from Tuesday, which would have been here, I'm not going to bother drawing because we already broke it. So we're going to get rid of that. But I will draw the high from Wednesday, the high from Thursday, which coincides to overnight high. And I have the high of Thursday down here. All right, let's see where we're trading. Actually, let's scooch this in a little and just kind of see. Okay. All right, one more time. I just want to see if there's anything that going backwards we really need to be paying attention to. We do have this area of balance here, but really not. It's only a couple of days, not a ton going on down there. And we have the microcomposite epoch marked off from that one, so we have what we need. Okay, so let's make this a little bigger. $87.75. Okay, here we go. So again, shorts are going to be, they're really going to need to set up cleanly for me to want to take any of them. But from a perspective of a hypothesis, we can see a push up to test overnight high, naked VPOC here, previous VPOC, previous swing high, all the way up ultimately to all-time high, which I really should be marking off here. In fact, I'm going to do that first. Okay. Okay, so we're currently trading very close to the overnight high, but that's going to be hypo one. Test of overnight high, test any one of these levels, okay? Ultimately get a really good looking setup for a short and look to try to grab a short coming in to test then we have yesterday's low, and ultimately maybe even making a push down towards this microcomposite VPOC and even further down towards this microcomposite VPOC. That's going to be hypo 1. I don't know how much of that I would catch. I guess we'd have to just see how the short sets up. Well, also I have to get it right too with whatever setup do it. Then we have another option, similar except no test to the upside. Push down, since we are opening inside yesterday's value area. Push down towards value area low, break overnight low, and continue as I was showing before in this move down here. That's going to be hypo 2. Hypo 3, and what I would think is more likely, not that that matters, what I think, it only matters what actually happens, but hypo 3 is going to be a break of overnight high and ultimately a push and run towards all-time high with the break, and I have no idea where that break would stop. I know we can do measured moves, Fibonacci extensions, and so on. It's just not something that I want to get into right now. That's going to be hypo 3. Certainly, we would be willing to take a long trade here, and then we would find ways to create profit targets, if not just use just random tick amounts, 8 ticks, 16 ticks, 24 ticks, whatever, or watch order flow for the profit target. Okay, that's it for S&P. How much time we have before the open here? About 5 minutes. I'll leave the recording on. And let's see, oil has come off the high, so we've come down a little bit from where we were doing our homework, but not horribly. Let's just take a bigger look here. So still overall uptrend from overnight. I do like the looks here of a short. Man, excuse me. I do like how this is setting up potentially for a short here. Negative divergence. Well, what looks like would be negative divergence if we pushed up towards overnight high. It looks like there's enough discrepancy in the BBs, enough of a downturn in the BBs to create a negative divergence if we were to push up there. But we will wait and see. Still pushing up there. I really do want to pay attention to this. As you know, I'm not a huge fan of getting into trades before the open, but this one really is laying itself out nicely. I'm watching the order flow now. I'm looking to see if there's a spot where the sellers look to be stopping the buying momentum, or the buyers stop stepping in here. But might have been right there actually. Oh, there go, buyers are back. I'm gonna take a short right here. At least I'll try to. There we go. Okay. Let me see. Just get a couple things ready on my end here. Now, very much obviously bucking the trend of the uptrend from overnight. I am willing to and looking to scale actually, but I'm holding off on where that's going to come from. right. Let's see what time we have. A little over a minute left to the open. So this is the area where sellers have tried stepping in. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to be able to push it down. That doesn't mean that this is going to stop at the open, because although sellers have stopped, we can see that it was a fairly strong move to get us back up here. Sellers have stopped the move, but they have not yet reversed the move. All right, nice. There we go. Quick 10 ticks before the open. I'm pretty much watching for the same thing again. I'm watching for another bounce up for another short. There's this previous swing here. See if that holds. See if we get into some type of consolidation. Remember, we do have some news releases coming out today in the next hour and a half. So it is possible that those will cause some choppiness. So let's just see here, watching to see if there's a spot where buyers step back in. This is obviously pushed down quite a bit more than our 10-tick profit target, but that's okay. Remember, we have a very large gap up. Yesterday's high. Let's go find it. All the way down here at 49.09. I should make that a little more accurate. Here we go. So we're seeing thicker levels than I can remember. There's lots of close to and over 100 here, which is nice. I like when there's more liquidity in oil. I mean, I prefer more volatility, but the combination of the two would be great. We're going to be watching for a pushback up towards this 49.60 area, which is, I think, pretty close. I don't even know where I entered my other trade, to tell you the truth. 49.68, okay. So we're looking to see now, is there an area where buyers are going to step in and see if we can't get a push back up towards the high of the day. Let's see here. Continue to break down. We had a great entry here. Only got one contract though, so not much we can be not much we can be expected to do with that. Certainly could have pushed our profit target away a little bit. I like the idea of getting a trade on and closed quickly before the open. So if we continue to stair step down this way, there's really not much we could do at this point. Little buying response down here. Quick bounce up 38 to 44. Only 6 tick, but first real buying response we've seen on this way down. We're going to watch back into this consolidation here, this 51 area. Would be willing to try to find some shorts up there if it sets up that way. Offer just building up here, right above current price, building up at 49.44. So sellers still seem to be holding this down. Very enticing here to try to short this into the low. Not part of my trading strategy at this point, so certainly not something I'm looking to do. But I could see where people might be looking to do that. We could see the sellers continually step in here, see the offers grow as we come down, see the trading happen on the bid. Continues to push down. Okay, so we see buyers starting to step in down here. So even though we saw some buyers step in, really not pushing away from the low. No real pullbacks for us. There's a nice little push up again. Not a huge push, but we're seeing some buying strength come in again. We got 6 tick bounce here. We had an 8 tick bounce earlier here, but that's all we've seen. Bids are definitely starting to stack. Let's see if we can start trading the offer, or the sellers are going to step back in and continue to push this price down. Still got a good 20 minutes or so before the equities open. Buyers do look to be stepping in here. Looks like they're going to try to. And now we just see if the sellers are going to be able to fight that off and continue to push down, or are we going to get some type of consolidation, a stalemate? So we can see that there's this bit of a slowdown in movement here, where we get this stalemate, where we see the buyers have been willing to come up a little bit, but sellers have not really let it go. So we've kind of seen this slowdown. So let's see which side wins. If I had it up to me, I would like a pullback up towards, again, what we were talking about before, this consolidation area from the opening, maybe in that 52, 54, 55 range. But we have to see if it gets up there. We also could be watching for as we consolidate down here. If we see some of this, a push to the low, but in the meantime, we've seen the BBs do this, then we could talk about maybe going for a long from down here. But that has not set itself up yet. But still, sellers are holding this down. Right? They're not letting it get above. They're not even letting it get back to the 41 area, but they haven't let it get above there yet. And here come buyers. Let's see. Let's see. It would be an awfully aggressive play here, but if we see the sellers continue to hold, you could be looking for a very, very short-term short. But again, not my trading style, not what I'm looking for. Here comes the test of VWAP. Buyers continue to push up. I'd be okay as far as here. I'd be okay trying to get a short close to here, even at this 43, 44 area, if the order flow kind of dictates it and we have a good opportunity. But I'd really like to see the buyers get more of this move back, continue to push up higher into those 50s. So buyers are continuing to step up here. There's a nice hold by the sellers. Buyers are back up. Let's see if we can start trading this offer. We are, but offer held. Buyers came back in, refreshed on the bid there. Same thing happened on the offer. Real stalemate here. Buyers just added on to the bid again. And again, and sellers just did the same on the offer. Okay, so buyers won that one very short term, and here come the sellers right back. Starting to watch this for a short. Oh, buyers refreshed again on the bid. Okay, the bid knocked down. You can see the bid growing while we're trading the offer. So we see that we're trading at the offer, which people are trying to buy and push price up, but the sellers are holding their ground here. Now we're trading bid. I am going to take a short here. Now, admittedly, this could be a touch early. I like how the sellers have stepped in and kept price from getting too far away from us. And I'm going to be willing to scale. I really should move this up a bit and this up a bit. Now we have to be very careful. Right now the BBs have turned up, but it looks to me as if we were to make a push towards current low of day, we would not have strong positive divergence on the 987, and we certainly would have none of it on the 1597. If we continue to consolidate around here, that dynamic can change, and that would certainly change my idea here on this trade. Buyers are continuing to try to push up, and sellers are continuing to protect this current VWAP and middle of day price. Now we want to see if we can't get back down into this downtrend. So it looks like sellers are starting to get back involved here. So 987 is kind of the one that we're watching closest on the BBs. It doesn't look like it would be a huge positive divergence, so I'm okay with it. But I am leaving my profit target where it is. I would be willing to close this out earlier if order flow dictated, because I am a little hesitant due to that 987. The 1597 obviously reads downward. The 610 obviously reads positive divergence. So it's the 987 that's my tiebreaker right now. But order flow seems to be okay. Sellers have continued to step down. There are some buyers joining the bid. Sellers have continued to step down. We just saw some more add on to the offer. Sellers continuing to add on to the offer. I don't like the buyers aren't leaving the bid. Yeah, I would like to see. I would have liked to have seen that push down a little further there. We're continuously, it seems like we're trading the offer much more than the bid right now. Okay, seller stepped in once again. But more importantly, I want to see these bids drop. I want to see that 608 number in yellow go down while we're trading the bid. See, it didn't. See, we traded offer again. There we go. So what it looks to me is happening right now, we have people willing to come on the offer, but we don't have people willing to hit the bid. We're not really there again. We're trading offer. See, we keep having people step in on the offer, which is good, but it will be a lot better to see. Now, right now, that 319, I want it to go to 240, but on the bid, while we're trading the bid. See, it bounced right back up and we traded offer. There we go. That was good. That was nice. That was nice. Now we want it to tick down again and start reducing in size. We want that 273 to become 220, but while we're trading the bid, not while we're trading the offer. That was a nice tick down right there. Oh, I'm right back with buyers. There we go. All right, so we got out of that one. We'll take it. Sellers do still seem to be in control, but you could see how on that the 987 there is no positive divergence, but you could see how close it was, which is why I was okay taking my 10 take profit target. Had that been a little clearer, I probably would have let this trade run a little bit further, but that's okay. Right here at overnight VPOC. about 5.5 minutes till the equities open. Not much happening right now. I intentionally try not to get too caught up in reading the order flow if we're not at an area or price point that I'm interested in doing something, because it'll drive me crazy. I'll end up creating trade opportunities that don't exist. So I try to be very diligent in not getting caught up in that. Now, what I'm watching for now from a price perspective is I'm watching for another pullback. I'd be more than okay with shorting another pullback up here. Again, it would have to get qualified by the order flow and by the BBs and so on, but that would be one move I'm looking for. And the other would be a quasi pullback with the BBs turning positive, turning upwards, I should say, and creating a much more obvious form of positive divergence, and then looking for a long somewhere down here. But let's see. As for the S&P, let's blow this up for a second and just see what we have. We have our double top at the current overnight high. That is matching yesterday's high. This is going to throw off the chart on oil for a second, but let's just see. Very, very clear negative divergence from swing to swing here. We'll shrink these down a little. Okay, so here's overnight high, here's yesterday's high, and we can see that, okay, so that is definitely negative divergence up there. Getting back over to oil real quick, we have bounced off the low right now. Just watching here on oil. Ten-tick bounce off the low in crude. 1 minute to the equities open. Remember, we had talked about I'm not crazy about taking shorts up here. It has to be a nice setup. This actually does look like one. This negative divergence from yesterday's high here to the overnight high, that does read well for a potential short, but it would have to, we'd have to watch the open, see if we get some sellers to step in. Ideally, what I'd like to see at the open would be something along the lines of this, with sellers stepping in and noticing on an order flow somewhere in there. Now, oil, I really would like to see more of a push here before trying to get into a short, because this does look like this is basing. This does look like this is, kind of getting into this rotation here, this consolidation. Let's take a look over at S&P real quick. Would have liked a little more of a push up there. This is, all this consolidation up here, that's building up strength for the next move. It's just a question of which way is that next move going to go. Oil has turned back down, going towards low of day. S&P down to the bottom end of this consolidation that it's been sitting in for, I don't know, what, 4 hours? But it's overnight trading. I mean, 4 hours of overnight is the equivalent to 5 minutes, well, especially the first 5 minutes. We are seeing support step in here. S&P has not yet really found support. Now see, pushing down further. Coming to test yesterday's VPOC. Remember, when we open inside the value area like we did here, or awfully close to it, the expectation is that we are going to make our way down towards VPOC. And value area low becomes in play, but we have a level between there. We have this overnight low here. Oil, on the other hand, still just consolidating now, just kind of hanging out. Over here on oil, the 610, real obvious positive divergence. 987 is starting to build some positive divergence, but it's honestly not obvious. It's honestly not obvious enough for me to want to pull the trigger on that, so I'm going to hold off. S&P, in the meantime, is just continuing to come down. We tagged yesterday's VPOC. S&P falling. Oil again testing near the lows here. Remember, we do have those news releases coming out. So, although we did have a fairly nice push down in oil from, what do we have here? Current high 49.57, current low 49.30. We're only talking about a 27 tick range, not a huge range in oil for the open. So, turned out nicely that we were paying attention before the open. We had a nice setup that we actually took. Turned out nicely that we got a nice short setup here on this test of VWAP and hold. We did not take this test of VWAP, which as of right now would have been at a maximum of a 10 tick profit target. That's not to say you would have had your trade closed. And as I talk about it, it now would become a much less in your favor position. So oil's going to have to do something before we jump on board. I do like how this is basing down here. I would not mind one more test towards the bottom, but with a little bit nicer rounding upwards. So what I'm referring to is something like, hey, come on here, there we go. I'd like to see that in that particular BB in those 987s. S&P has not really made any bounce yet. So we might be kind of just watching along now for a bit. I mean, there's some things that would have to change in oil. S&P continues to push further down. There's some things that would have to change in oil for us to want to take a trade down here from a long perspective. And those have not yet changed, so we're not going to look to pull the trigger on that. Right now, from what we can see, we think it will continue to push lower. Oil, that is. S&P has bounced off of its low. Only a couple ticks, but let's see what comes of this. See oil again flirting with pushing down towards the low, but 987 is starting to look a little bit better. Still not really in place the way I would like it for trying to catch a long here. Let's watch on this S&P here. Okay, further push down coming into towards overnight low. S&P continuing to push down to the lows. I can't even say that we missed the short up here. Remember, I was not all that interested in looking for shorts. We were talking about the negative divergence up here, so you certainly had some reasoning there, but just not something that I was looking for. Had we pushed up a little bit further, I would have. Like we were talking about, if we pushed up a little bit further and failed, I would have been looking for a short up there. But we never got that push. We just immediately started pushing down. If in oil we could get a couple of candles to close like this, even if they end up being a little bit smaller range candles, some dojis up here, I think that would turn these BBs like I want, and then potentially be able to look to buy on a pullback. Looks like a nice candlestick setup might be forming down here on the S&P. Okay, so we're seeing that nice bullish candle coming in here on the S&P. So although we saw the pullback in the S&P, a bounce up here towards 21 EMA, VWAP. Here comes a push back down. No positive divergence. As much as I'd love to be looking for areas to find the long, that's just not what's setting up right now. That doesn't mean it can't just turn and go, but that, at least for now, that is not what's setting up. Oil has absolutely just died in this range here. We are stuck. But this is what I was talking about. So now we see a couple of candles forming up here. And that's certainly going to push the BBs in the direction that I want for the opportunity of a pullback long. On the flip side of this, we are also going to start paying attention for a potential short, but it's going to have to come up a bit more because we're even getting rollover on the 1597 right now. Okay, let's see. Right now we're really we're kind of stuck on both of them. S&P did make another push down towards the low, but again, no positive divergence on the BBs. We do have overnight low that could be acting as support here. I would love to see this oil candle close kind of where it's at now. I don't want it to, well, even if this turned down, I think at this point we're starting to see a nicer angle upwards in that 987. But I'd love to see this oil candle close around where it's at, get a flush down, like almost an exaggerated move, giving us a chance to get into a long position. So let's see if that sets up. Still no real great positive sign on the S&P for us to look for a long. Again, that doesn't mean that it won't just tear off and start making its way towards all-time high, but we need something a little bit more than what we've gotten so far. Okay, so the oil candle, really, I'd love to see this close a little higher. Okay, so it closed down there. Still, the BBs have turned up nicely. I am looking for a flush down now with an opportunity to get into a long above the current low of day. I'd like that to be verified by order flow if we do come down there. Okay, here comes this flush down that I'm looking for in oil. But we need, I want to see it. I want to see sellers dry up a little bit. I don't just want to buy into a falling knife. I don't want to try to catch a falling knife here. Sellers are continuing to step in, and buyers just continue to get out of the way. So I don't want to just jump in yet. Oh, there we go. I'm not going to get okay. Not a great entry. I really was looking for a tick or two better. But let's see what happens. Let's see if we get our buyers now to step in and hold this low. The BBs have turned exactly as I would have liked them to. Again, that doesn't mean the trade's going to work, but for what I'm watching, for the setup I'm hoping for, this is exactly pretty much what I was looking for. I would have liked a slightly better entry price, but that's okay. All right, buyers are stepping in, but not able to push. Quick reaction there by the sellers. S&P overnight low has held again here. I think it would certainly help me in oil if S&P were to push up, although I would like to, honestly, I'd like the same type of setup to happen here in the S&P. I'd like us to trade upwards towards the upper end of this consolidation, maybe, even all the way up here, and then ultimately get a flush down towards the low, give me a chance to get into a long trade there. But let's see what's happening here on oil. Okay, just saw sellers step in here. Okay, sellers still coming down, buyers holding their ground. I'm more interested in buyers stepping up just like that. but they're not really able to start trading offer. Remember, so now what I'm looking for is I want that yellow number, this 84, to start trading on the offer, ticking up. And as it goes higher and higher, this number gets lower and lower so that we're actually trading as we push up. That's what I'm looking for here. I don't want to see it trading on the bid. I don't want to see the number, this 569, get lower while it's on the bid side. So that was a nice big chunk happening on the bid. I'm not crazy. Wasn't crazy about that. But the buyers held. The bid didn't run away. The bid added on size. So that's actually a positive sign. But again, I'd rather see these trades coming and trading on the offer, having these sellers lift their prices, having buyers step in and drive price up higher. All that looks good. All that looks good for me. Got to be careful here. We're at VWAP. We've seen VWAP hold a couple of times now as resistance. So really got to watch what happens now. Do the sellers continue to add onto this offer? No, bids came up. Let's see if they can hold there now. Let's start keep trading those offers. So we see sellers defending this VWAP here once again. Okay, buyers are back up. Let's see if we can't start trading these offers. Make a push here. There we go. I am out at 9 ticks. And the reason I was okay with doing that is because if you remember, I didn't get the fill I wanted on my entry. This should have been my 10 tick. In some cases, it could have been my 11 tick profit target. So I'm closing that trade here. I'm not confident enough yet that we are going to blast up now. We very well may. But at this point, I would have hit my profit target for the day, $300 per contract. So I am happy with that. And S&P, I was hoping for a slightly better setup. Didn't quite come. Tough trading today, though, to be honest with you. Everything was 10 tick here, 10 tick there. The early trade before the open, I guess we could have held on to that for a bit. But everything else we did, 10 ticks, 12 ticks was about as much as we can get. So well-timed entries, well-timed exits. Very happy with it. And this last long here, there's certainly the possibility that we are going to see oil now make its way up and start traveling towards the, start traveling back towards the value area high of overnight, but more interestingly, traveling towards the overnight high. So that is certainly a possibility, but for what was set up and what we were doing and my timing, this was a very, very good morning for me. So, as usual, if you guys have any questions, feel free to get in touch. If not, I will see you on Monday. All right, have a great weekend. Bye-bye now.